whelps, literally red whelps,
Wow.
like hives. Never seen anything like it, Rock. And every time he lies more, they cover his face. His face ends up looking so grotesque that the judge says, let's have a recess.
Welcome to Cajun Miracles. I have with me again Lucia. Welcome, Lou.
Happy to be back,
um,
Rock.
This is part 3. Take it away, Lou. Let's continue.
Well, we left off in the second episode where the judge in Delaware was touched by Jesus, where he changed his ruling, completely changed it, and decided to stay the Delaware action, sending me and my opponent to New York City so that it could be determined who was right and who was wrong. So we're heading to New York City. As you may recall, Rock's cousin, Father Paul Bageron, had the dream about me kneeling on the sidewalk in Delaware and saw the Archangel Michael standing next to me in the dream. I thought it was Jesus. It was so powerful. Mm-hmm. But according to Father Paul, he saw the angel Michael touching me with the tip of his sword on the sidewalk in Delaware. I had thereafter asked Father Paul to be my spiritual director because I was still receiving locutions on a regular basis, and I just felt like I needed guidance. Miracles were happening, it seemed like almost daily, and I felt like I needed help. We head to New York, my wife, myself, and the 2 Jewish attorneys that I believe the Blessed Mother sent me. So we get to New York, and Father Paul gives me specific instruction. He says, Lou, you're going to be only 2 blocks from St. Patrick Cathedral. You need to go to daily Mass. And when you finish Mass, they got a little gift shop. Buy the small bottles of holy water. And he said, I'm going to give you blessed salt to take with you as well. He says, you get to that courtroom before anyone, early. He gave me some prayers to say, and he said, say the prayers and put a little sprinkle of blessed salt on every chair that people will sit in. And he said, somehow get the holy water from St. Patrick's into the water that the participants will be drinking in the court proceeding. Well, there were large tables with pitchers of water on the table. So my routine would be to do the salt first on the chairs. After Mass, salt, blessed salt, holy water in the pitchers of water.
Put like one little drop or something?
A couple of drops. In a pitcher of water, I put 2 or 3 drops.
Okay.
I thought holy water was a wives' tale. I thought it was, the old people believed it. Well, let me tell you, when you hear what I'm about to tell you, the old people were right. I did exactly what Father Paul said. Of course, I'm always praying the rosary, always going to Mass at St. Patrick and adoration. First witness comes. Well, this guy was just phenomenal as far as his credentials go. You know, when they put a witness on stand, they ask about credentials. You know, in this case, they ask the witness for my opponent, well, sir, and by the way, the gentleman was, he worked with me in the joint venture. My attorney asked, you know, sir, what are your credentials? You know, education, for instance. And he says, first, I got a degree, and it was an Ivy League college. Then I ended up, no, it was West Point. I'm sorry, it wasn't Ivy League, it was West Point. He said I graduated in the top of my class at West Point Academy. Then I entered as Green Beret, Special Forces, into the war to do a tour. He said, I did 2 tours. Afterwards, Vietnam, by the way, and then afterwards he says, I come out of the Green Beret, I enter Harvard, and I get my MBA from Harvard University. That's the Ivy League school. Well, I mean, this guy's credentials, literally, I felt like going to ask him for his autograph. I mean, what an accomplishment, this guy. You know, I mean, unbelievable. His attorney asks what they call direct examination, where he says, tell us about this, and then he'd give a story. The problem was they were lying. And, you know, every time this guy lied, I don't think he was normally a liar. I think he was being forced by the big corporation to lie. But he told a story that was just opposite the truth. He even tried to paint me out as a bad guy. And I just sat there and I just kept praying and trying to hold my cool. You know, I don't like it when people lie about me and my character. Well, my attorney gets him on a cross. They call it cross-examination. And he picks at those lies, and they start to fall apart. And he starts to get caught in his very own lies. Whelps, literally, red whelps.
Wow.
Like hives. Never seen anything like it, Rock. And every time he lies more, they cover his face. His face ends up looking so grotesque that the judge says, let's have a recess. Have a little short recess, and his colleagues go tell him, man, you go to the bathroom, look at your face. What's wrong with you? And we were in a tall building. He gets to the elevators, supposed to go down with his colleagues. Instead, he gets on the stairwell and he starts walking up. I overheard him. He said, what are you doing? We're going down, not up. He says, I feel like going to jump off the top of the building. Completely destroyed him in his lies. And guess what? He was drinking holy water and sitting on blessed salt. Truly a real-life Pinocchio. He was a Pinocchio.
So he went to the bathroom with the welts.
When he came out the bathroom and we restarted the recess.
Yeah. Still had the welts on?
No, they were gone.
They were gone. Wow.
But when he resumed testimony and lied, every time he lied, the whelps would come.
Wow.
So I think he had a nervous reaction to lying. I don't think, perhaps he was a good person that wasn't a everyday liar or a compulsive liar. Perhaps he was lying to keep his job. It's the only thing I can think.
Yeah, that's just.
He wasn't a very good liar.
Right. Well, the main thing, welts came on his face when he lied. That's all that really matters.
Oh, he looked like a monster.
Wow.
I've never seen anything like it. They let him off. Their next witness comes. Big dude. I mean, this guy's like 6-something. Credentials again. Another Harvard guy. Well, he's the CFO of the joint venture.
Mm-hmm.
Man, tremendous credentials from Harvard University. Graduate degrees. Tells this long story that, again, includes lies on direct examination. My Jewish attorneys cross him. And when they cross him, they blatantly catch him in the first lie. That was all it took. When he realized he was caught in a lie, this guy looked like he could play NFL football. Big dude. He just stood there and went, oh, tears streaming from his face. Couldn't stop, uncontrollable crying. It was unbelievable. Had to recess the court. He couldn't stop crying. 45-minute recess. We arrived back because we left and went and had coffee or something. Come back to resume. Walk in the courtroom, he's still crying. Unbelievable. So we got Pinocchio, the first guy with the whelps. Mm-hmm. Instead of the nose growing, he had big whelps all over, red whelps everywhere. And then we got Baby Huey. He just can't stop crying. I'd never seen anything like it. It was just surreal. Paul, and I just keep going to St. Patrick's. I keep putting that holy water in. And
every day.
Every day. And I keep praying. It works. I was having locutions. It was so unbelievable. I'd also go to St. Patrick's, not just before court, but also after. And I never forget, my wife, the Jewish guys, would tell my wife, oh, you got to come with us so we can prepare for tomorrow. I was a guy with so much faith at this point. Wasn't in my hands or her hands or their hands. I was a guy that was like, you don't need to practice anything. The Holy Spirit will guide you and lead you in what you need to say and do. So I'd go to St. Patrick's. They'd go study. And maybe they just wanted my wife to go study with him because she was attractive, and she was a good record keeper. But anyway, I'm at St. Patrick's, and I have a locution. Mary's there again. Smell, feeling. And I get, this is the message. I think it was page 49. The manufacturing agreement. Okay, Mary. I knew what it means. Whenever I got a little phrase, it was always a word or a phrase. It wasn't a long thing. But I know what it meant. I hurry over to where they're preparing for tomorrow. I said, guess what? I had a locution. And the Blessed Mother said tomorrow they're going to bring up page 49 of the manufacturing agreement and claim that they're not liable for any of this. Yeah, sure, Lou, sure, okay. I said, okay, y'all go ahead and continue to do what y'all do. And I told Cindy, you know, you can find me over at Ruth's Chris. I'll be over there. I'm going to go have a drink. Next day, they start. What do you think they bring up? Page 49 of the manufacturing agreement. Exactly what the Blessed Mother told me to tell the attorneys. Well, they're Jewish. And they said, my God, how did he know that? I mean, these documents, this joint venture agreement, has multiple agreements involved in it, and it's voluminous. How could he pick that page? How could he know it? I said, no, I didn't do anything. I said, I had a locution. Mary has been giving me messages for some time now. And they find it hard to believe, you know, how the Jewish people don't believe in Jesus as God. My wife tried to convince him. She said, no, the Virgin Mary did appear to him. I know it for a fact, she said. I lived with him. He changed. Well, it happened again a few days later. And it was pinpoint accurate. These guys became Jews that loved Jesus. Next thing you know, they're carrying rosaries. They would, and they, you know, they even try to say, well, he's just a genius. Maybe he's artistic. I'm not a genius, and I'm not artistic. Cindy says, no, it is divine. It's divine providence. We're on our way home, because we get to go home once every couple of weeks or so for a weekend and go back. And we're at the airport. We're talking about the miracles. You know, and the lawyers are talking about the miracles. With I get messages of what they're going to do before they do it. And I said, look, there's angels, man. And as soon as I say that, I think we were at Kennedy Airport. For some reason, we flew out of Kennedy. And it was windy. And Cindy goes, look. And there's this feather, like a feather from an angel. With all that wind, it just suspends itself long enough for the attorneys, Cindy, and myself to see it. It just stays there. And then all of a sudden, the wind takes it. I said there, I told the Jewish attorneys, I said, those angels are all around us. Boy, it had an impact on them. We back over there. The next witness, he was a compulsive liar. He probably lied every day of his life. He probably lied. He's one of those kind of people that lie. He was an engineer. He lied when he didn't have to lie. That's the kind of guy he was. We shredded him. Of course, he's drinking the holy water. And of course, my wife's a smart engineer and has a lot of documents. And we just shredded the guy up. I mean, it was just totally ridiculous. There's no more witnesses scheduled. But they come up with this excuse. Our president couldn't be here when we made the schedule, but he can now. What really happened was they knew that every witness had been caught lying. So they say, our president can come now. Would you allow him to come in and testify as a witness, although he wasn't on the schedule? The answer was yes. So he comes. Another Ivy League guy. Super smart. He gets away with it. He's lying and lying and lying, and he's getting away with it. So lunch comes. And this is the first we had anybody not get caught. He's drinking the holy water. And by the way, no, he had not drunk the holy water. that's the day, and he was the last witness. And so what had happened was, he might have drank it, but what had happened was, they came in early that day when he was going to testify. And I didn't see him. I was putting holy water in the pitchers of water on the tables. And one of them says, "What are you doing?" And I put it away. And then the judge came and he said, "Your Honor, Mr. Sire was putting an unknown substance into the water, a liquid substance." And he says, "Mr. Sire, can you explain what was going on?" I just told the truth. I said, "Your Honor, yeah. The reason we've been catching them in all these lies is because I'm putting holy water in what the water they drink. And they sitting on blessed salt too, by the way. And I believe that's why they've been caught in so many lies." So when I come to think about it,
What did the judge say after that?
he admonished me. He said, "Do never, ever put anything in the water that's on these tables." I said, "Yes, sir." But I think he heard me. And he certainly knew they had been caught. Every one of them had been caught in lies. So that day, the president really wasn't drinking it. I think they went and bought bottled water or something like that because they had caught me. He gets away with lies all day, till noon, till lunch. Go to recess. My attorneys are telling me, 2 Jewish attorneys are saying, "Lou, we got to let him off. We caught everybody else lying. We don't need to cross him. He's good. We're not getting anywhere. As a matter of fact, it could be hurting us." I said, "No, you got to try." He said, "Look, Lou, we discussed it. There's a couple of questions that we agreed on." So what happened was, I'm walking down 51st Avenue to the court. And I'm praying, and I don't know, for the listening public, maybe this is not respectful, but I was praying while I was smoking a cigarette. And I'm praying to St. Michael. I'm saying, "St. Michael, I love you, but St. Michael, why don't you do your job? This guy lied all morning. We didn't catch him. St. Michael, please do your job. Please, I'm begging you, do your job, St. Michael. You're supposed to fight evil, bad people. Please help us and do your job." Get in there from lunch. They're going to ask a couple of questions and let him go. Well, lo and behold, he pulls out a Snickers bar about family size. You know, Snickers has caramel, chocolate, nuts. He's on the witness stand. Has the nerve to open it. Gets a question, we're on cross, from my attorney. Instead of answering, he goes, ugly face. Can't get the caramel down. Oh, it was disgusting. Did it again. In between questions. Everybody's waiting for him to swallow. Piece of chocolate flies out his mouth. He takes his finger. It's on the witness podium. Shoots the chocolate like that. He's like just totally acting bizarre. And then we asked the question. There was a document that we had found where the French government wanted to buy the invention. He writes him back and tells him, "We're having a problem with our partner, but we will get right back to you as soon as we resolve our partner issues." So they want to get rid of me before they sell the French military these containers. And I'll never forget the guy's name. The guy he's corresponding with the French military is Jacques Pousse. All of a sudden, he's getting caught in this lie. They're setting him up for it. And they finally say, well, what about this letter that you sent telling him about your partner problems to Jacques Pousse? He sees it and he starts freaking out. A fruit fly appears. Bzzz, flying around. He goes, He's still trying to finish the candy bar and swiping in the air now. The fly wanted the sweetness from the candy in his mouth. And it flies right into his mouth. He starts choking. Oh, a long, long choking spell. And he's going like that. He looked like a demon, like a monster. And everybody in the courtroom is appalled by it, especially the judge. Then he gets caught in a lie. Remarkable. St. Michael came through. So, we're on our way back to Homer, Louisiana. So, from New York City. So it's it's late
Luke,
at night.
I want to interrupt you a second. The elevator story, was that before you left?
Yes, and I'm so happy. You know my testimony.
Yes.
And I forgot. What Rock is referring to, we had a recess one day, and we're at the elevator. Their attorneys are all in-house. Some are in-house, some are outside. The big guns in New York. Harvard guys. Harvard, Yale, those guys. This one was from Harvard. They had just been testifying about my invention. Don't give Lou any credit. We're the smart guys. Don't give his wife any credit because we're the smart guys. We invented Apollo, put the man on the moon. We invented the tail hookers for the aircraft carriers, the F-16s. We do the B-2 stealth bomber. Radar can't detect it. We're the high-tech guys. Give us the credit for all of this invention. Well, fact of the matter is we built 200 copies that worked perfectly fine before we ever met them. But they're trying to take our credit and put us down. So recess comes. And, you know, all I could ever do was think about marrying Jesus. So I was carrying a Blessed Mother prayer card. And I can't remember. I think it was Our Lady of Perpetual Help prayer card. That's what it was. So they at the elevator bank, we're waiting. I said, you guys think y'all high tech? They look at me. I said, let me tell you what's high tech. You know, y'all got technology like B-2 stealth, Apollo. But what's really high tech? And I pull out my prayer card of Our Lady. I said, this is high tech. When you can put somebody on my porch that lived 2,000 years ago, that's high tech. And they saw that prayer card, Our Lady Perpetual Help. And they heard me say, put a human being that lived 2,000 years ago on my porch. It might be a little more high tech than a jet fighter. And the door opened. And they said, Mr. Sire, go ahead, y'all take this elevator. We'll wait for the next one. So, after the fly went into the president's mouth and he swallowed it and got caught in the biggest lie of the case with the French military. And we're so happy, my wife and I. We're on our way home. Headed to Homer. We're in Paradis. They got St. John the Baptist Church in Paradis. I'm sure a lot of people in Louisiana know it. Mm-hmm. And we were marveling over. My wife said, you didn't see the fly. But I saw the fly, and he swallowed it. That's what made him choke. And we were marveling over Jesus and St. Michael. And all of a sudden, my wife had never smelled the smell that I would get with Lilliputians. The whole car filled with that most beautiful aroma of sanctity of the Virgin Mary. And husband and wife, Cindy and I, were overwhelmed with joyful tears, knowing that Jesus, his mother, and his angels were with us in our time of need. Long story short, that trial concluded. We were restored all the patents. They lost their half the patents. They owned half of the company, but they were all restored back to me. And they were forced to pay lost profits for choking the business down. And I got more to tell you. There's another sequel event that'll be coming at some time in the future. But I just, it's not the money. The important thing is that when you're in dire straits, and we were broke. It might be sickness. And I just went through that, as a matter of fact. I just almost died twice in the last 2 years. But wherever you got faith, you're going to have miracles. They're there. And Jesus is so full of love and mercy, he wants to give us all a miracle. But you got to have faith, because he can't do it unless you have faith. So, Rock, thank you for having me on Cajun Miracles.
Thank you for being here, Lou. Enjoyed it. And please remember, everybody, to like and subscribe and share with others. Thank you, Lou.
Thank you, Rock.
And amen.
Amen.